The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus was on his way to the city of Jerusalem. As he continued his journey, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. Now, as he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, he said, "Go show yourselves to the priests." As they were going, they were cleansed. One of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. He fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. Now he was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed, were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? And then he said to the Samaritan, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." The Gospel of the Lord. As part of my ministry here at Nativity, I often find myself visiting local hospitals, Millard Fillmore Suburban, Buffalo General, other hospitals in the area. And so often when I walk into the room of the sick person, that person is the first one to greet. And so often it's a cheery, "How are you, Father?" And I think to myself, that was supposed to be my question. How are you? Because the reality is that that person is in that hospital bed because of sickness. Now, as we come together this morning, we all know of parishioners or neighbors who are hospitalized at this time. Or maybe we have family members who reside in places of care. Or maybe we have friends who are sick at home. And as a matter of fact, as you notice, we encounter sickness in the scriptures today. In the book of Kings, we hear about the pagan Naaman, who is sick with leprosy. And then in the Gospel of St. Luke, we hear of 10 people who are sick with leprosy. Now, what happens when we encounter sickness in others? We certainly want to express our concern. And even though we may not be skilled in health care, we have that sense that we need to do something. Notice what Naaman did in the face of his sickness. He prayed to the Jewish God. And notice what the lepers did in the gospel in light of their sickness. They prayed to Jesus. So that's very often what we end up doing in the face of sickness. We offer our prayerful support. As a matter of fact, every weekend in our bulletin we have a list of the sick to inspire our prayerfulness. And in a few moments, in the prayer of the faithful or the general intercessions, we will pray for those who are sick. But why do we do that? What good does prayer do? Well, if nothing else, it certainly helps us express our concern for the sick. When you hear of sickness in another person, at least you can say, I will be with you in prayerfulness. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I can't minister to you in that way, but I will support you with my prayerfulness. It's much the same thing that I do when I visit someone in the hospital. I can't check their charts to see what they need by way of medication. I can't offer any kind of sensible advice about their sickness, but I can offer my blessing. So our prayerfulness expresses our concern. It also helps us cope with the whole idea of suffering. This is something that we struggle with, of course. So when we pray for the sick, we are reflecting upon the nature of suffering in the presence of God, in the framework of our prayerfulness. And finally, and most importantly, when we pray for those who are sick, we show our trust in the presence and the mercy of Jesus. We certainly don't have good answers in the face of the suffering of the sick. As a matter of fact, we don't even fully understand the role and the power of prayer. We simply put our faith in the words of Jesus when he says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest."